Cowboys have wasted no time going shopping in free agency. They've agreed to terms with 2 new defensive ends to add them to the roster. We've got all that and more right here on Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Nick Harris. Now, Nick, the Cowboys have signed 2 new guys to this roster, obviously to fill in for Sammy Williams, who is out for the rest of the 2024 season. But Al-Quadin, I'll start with him. Al-Quadin Muhammad, we'll talk about him, former Colts defensive end. What have you liked so far, and how do you feel like he fits in this Mike Zimmer defensive line?
Yeah, he's more of a power guy, and he's going to be able to bring a power presence off that edge in the absence of Sam Williams. And I'd be curious to know the philosophy question that Director of Player Personnel, Will McClay, Stephen Jones, and those guys had whenever Sam Williams went down to discuss what type of pass rusher that they wanted in his absence. And you bring in a guy like Al-Quadin Muhammad, who is that's a power guy who can come around the edge with a little bit more force and ferocity. The one note that you'll have to note on Muhammad is that he still has 1 game to serve of a 6-game suspension that he got last year for performance-enhancing substances. So week 1 against Cleveland, you won't see him if he's still around on the roster, but he's a veteran presence in that edge group that could really help out as time goes on.
Talk about suspension. Another guy that the Cowboys have signed is Shaka Toney, former Washington Commanders defensive end, but he got reinstated to the NFL in April. What have you liked so far, and what do you think that he can bring as well?
Yeah, Shaka Toney, a former college teammate of Micah Parsons. He was a 7th-round pick, as you mentioned, of the Washington Commanders back in 2021. He hasn't really had his full opportunity to succeed around the edge, but he has a ton of special teams experience. And when you look at what Sam Williams left in the void, that was that special teams presence that he had towards the back end of last year. I think Shaka Toney could be that guy that could step into his special teams role and really account for it on kick return coverage and punt coverage.
Those 2 guys had good workouts earlier this week, obviously signing to the Dallas Cowboys. Only time will tell how they fit in, but only time will tell about how Dak Prescott can perform as well. He did so in 2023, putting up historic numbers. We'll be talking about him and go exclusive one-on-one with him up next.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Dak Prescott took 2023 by storm. He led the league in passing touchdowns and also finished 2023 second in MVP voting. Now he's got a little bit of added motivation. Baby MJ heading into training camp in year number 9, and I asked him, how's that added motivation being now a girl dad? I mean, Dak, first off, just how you feeling? How you good?
Great. Excited to be out here in camp, feeling good. Loving getting better with the guys, and no better weather than out here.
And this is going into year 9 for you. You've been to so many different training camps, but now you're a girl dad, right? First-time dad. Obviously, this one makes training camp a little bit more different.
Yeah, being able to see MJ, Margaret Jane, is a blessing. Just being able to focus within the lines, give that all my focus, and just the moment that practice is over with, whether it's being able to see her on the field or FaceTime back with SJ and CMJ, it just puts everything in perspective. And once again, I'm not somebody that ever takes anything for granted, but just being intentional with my time and just every moment that I get with her is a blessing.
How does it feel just having a kid, and how much does it push you more now that you add that extra level of intensity?
Yeah, I mean, understanding that it's not about me, it's about MJ. She's the boss, as we say now, and just being able to start a family. Yeah, it's that more and so I have to be intentional for everything that I do, everything that I say with my time, and it's a responsibility and obligation that I'm truly thankful to have, and I know it's already made me a better person, a man, and that's all carrying over to the football field.
Does it help with that free mindset that you kind of talked about heading into this season a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's about her, and just being able to, when I get my time in football, being able to lock in there, and then getting away from football, truly being able to get away from football, having a distraction that is real now, and that is more than a distraction. It's that balance, that when football is out of the way, it's truly out of the way, and I get to focus on my time, my family, and put my effort there. Just allows me to be better, to when I get back into football, it can have all my time.
When you talk about that free mentality, what does that exactly mean to you? When's the last time you felt this free?
I'm a free bird in a sense of maybe always. I've kind of felt in this way, and I think that was the way that I was raised. My mom would probably say that she was a free spirit as well in that sense, and so more so now it's just about having a family. I'm sorry.
You hear Zeke in the background, your bestie.
That allows me to be free, having him as well. That just, as you get older, the experience is everything that you encounter. You understand what's important, and right now, it's when I'm on the football field, it's that, and then when I'm not, it's my family. That nothing else really matters, good or bad. Anybody else's opinion is usually just noise.
I've only been here for about 8 months with the team, but I've gotten a really good glimpse of the good quarterback that you are. What are some things, though, that you feel like you do well? Because we hardly hear you talk about the good things that you do well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a leader, and I'm somebody that focuses each and every day on how to get better, 1% in every aspect of not just the game and life. And I think that, hopefully that's contagious for other people to see and other people to use to in their life, and not just in their day-to-day, but on the football field and trying to get better, more importantly.
Last question here. Obviously, in 2021, you had your injury, but in 2023, we saw you utilizing your legs, right, taking what the defense gives you. Are you looking to turn that up in 2024 a little bit more?
The defense gives me more opportunities, most definitely. I think early in this past season, I wasn't using them as much as I was just getting used to the system and the footwork, and whether that second hitch meant to run or the second hitch meant to find the check down, is now really understanding my run lanes, when I need to get out, the risk versus reward of getting extra yards. That I feel the best that I have going into year 9. So if that's what's needed, I'm going to take it.
Best of luck to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Ready to wrap things up on Inside Cowboys training camp presented by Ford, Nicole, Hutchison, and Nick Harris. Now, Nick, we actually got the blessing to hear from John Fossil yesterday, and he kind of put the media through a little class tutorial on how the new special teams kickoff rule will work here in the 2024 season. We got a chance to also see it live in action in the Hall of Fame game Thursday night. What are your first thoughts? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how special teams has been working and installing this.
Yeah, got to applaud special teams coordinator John Fossil for spending about an hour with the media on Thursday afternoon, answering any questions and kind of going through some strategy that might be involved with this new kickoff rule. But yeah, we got to see it in action in Canton on Thursday night in the Hall of Fame game between the Texans and Bears. And just based on Fossil's rhetoric, there's going to be a lot of trial and error through these first few weeks, especially here during the preseason. But I think one interesting aspect that the Cowboys will have to their advantage is Kevontae Turpin. He was the Pro Bowl returner as a rookie whenever he came in from the USFL. He stacked on that performance last season, but now going into year 3, Kevontae Turpin, he feels more comfortable, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but on special teams as well. He feels really good about how this kickoff rule could potentially benefit him. And then you also have an extra returner back there, and we talked to John Fossil about potential strategy of what that other returner could look like. They've used guys like Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, Jalen Cropper, Wanye Thomas. They've all gotten reps there in that return group over the course of training camp. But what type of guy and who could that second returner actually be? John Fossil, he was like, just wait and see. We'll find out.
Now, also something that he mentioned that was depending on the blockers, you can use like a 9-man front, 2 returners, or a 10-man front and only 1 returner. Which do you feel like the NFL teams will kind of lean towards most?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be part of the trial and error. You know, what actually works whenever these teams do actually get out on the field? Do 9 protectors work, or would you rather have that dual returner type instance? I think it's going to be really fascinating to see what the strategy evolves into as the season goes on.
Well, hopefully we get a chance to see that in the blue and white practice. You can watch that live on the DallasCowboys.com at 1 p.m. Central. But that's a wrap for today's episode of Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford. We'll see you guys back on Sunday.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.